Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 60 of MCEternal. Ooh, another world download episode already? That reminds me, I don't think I released episode 50 yet, so there's that. I should probably get that going for you guys, huh? Anyway, let's talk about where we're at today. So last episode, I played around a little bit with growing crystals, right? And we started down the path of integrated dynamics to get that automated somewhat. I did grow a few crystals. My goals for today are to automate this process, right? Make it so that it's as automated as possible. And then in addition to that, I'd like to look at getting the crop growing ritual going so we can see how good it works on those crops down there. And boy, do I hope it works, because I'm gonna be in trouble. You guys are gonna yell at me if that does not work as well as it hopefully will. So let's get a little started, shall we? So we've got this whole setup going, right? And last episode we started monitoring things here, like, you know, the amount or the value of stats on crystals, right? And for now we're just kind of spitting it out on the screen, so we can see the collective capacity, which is equivalent to the cutting, the size, and then the purity as well, which will be always 100 because we've got perfect 100 purity crystals now, right? Fracture, I think, happens when you do rituals with these crystals, but I've never actually gotten them to fracture, so I don't know what that's about. I think crystals are supposed to fracture. Oh, good, you split. Good job. So we'll figure that out, right? And then size override, no idea what that means. It's probably some internal hidden thing. So our main focus on this one on the left here is size. And basically we want to know if that size is equal to 900, right? And if it is, we want to pick up the item and put it somewhere, probably in this chest, right? And we're probably going to have two chests here. So I'm going to get a second chest. I'm going to try and make this, you know, both somewhat nice looking and somewhat interesting, right? So let's put this here. Let's put this here. And I'm going to stick a whatchamacallit here, the item interface, right? So this item interface can be channel, I don't know, 1? How's that sound? And then this item interface can be channel 2. That sound cool? All right, so you're going to be able to interact with things. And what we're going to say here is, let's say that all fully grown crystals go in here, right, in this chest on the left, right? So if it's fully grown and it's a perfect 900 size, it goes in the left chest. And if it's not fully grown, which means it's probably come from here, right? Something split and it lands in this chest, right, is what we're going to do. So when this one splits and it becomes two small crystals, we're going to pick up one of them, put it in this chest, and it's going to wait here until there's room over here, and then it's going to go into here, and then this guy will get picked up when he's 900 and go into this chest for fully grown. So this is kind of our, like, to be grown chest, where this is our fully grown perfect chest. Now, the one downside of the system is I can't, unless something's changed recently, automate the grindstone. I tried in previous series, and every time I tried, there was just no way to automate the grindstone. I think it's purposely coded to prevent you from being able to automate the grindstone, so you do have to grind things manually. So that ain't the end of the world, right? Like, we can totally grind them manually, and, you know, put them in here as a, you know, go ahead and get fully grown. And what we can do is, if this one decides to grow to 900, but his cutting is still 46, we can just grind him and put him back in this chest, and then he'll make his way over there. Sound cool? So we can see that this thing is doing a good job. 325 size, 335 size. Let's go ahead and set this thing up to automatically pick up when it's time to do so, right? So we're going to want a world item importer on one side of this. And just because I know we're going to need it, let's get ready here with the world item exporter. Oops, not that. You go there. So I've got a world item exporter here ready to go. Okay. Let me get another one of each of those, because we're going to need them on the other side as well. So world item importer and world item exporter. We'll kick off that crafting while we're waiting and getting this set up. So this thing will pick up items, right? And we can specify when and how to pick up items. We're going to say that we want him to pick up any item that's in front of him, because we know it's always going to be that crystal, right? Pick up any item in front of you as long as a certain condition is true. And that condition is going to be the size of this crystal is equal to 900. Okay, so let's go ahead and program that. So first off, we need to get just the size out of this value, right? So last episode we set this up. If you don't know how we got this thing, go watch the end of last episode and you'll figure it out. But what we want to do now is get the integer NBT value of size. So we know that the value we're looking for is called size, because that's that one right there, size. Okay, so we're going to come in here and we're going to get a string called size. And then we're going to search for an NBT value, and we know size is an integer. So we're going to say, give me the integer value of the NBT data that's on this card, and that data's name is string, and that'll give us the integer value of that, right? So here's this big NBT data thing, right? We're saying, give me the one that's size. That's what the string is, right? And then when we do that, right, obviously these guys need to be in here, as we know. And if we put this card in here now, we get just the size value, because that's all we care about, right? We know purity is going to be 100%, and I don't care what the cutting is, because I'm going to manually have to do the cutting anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? So now what I'm going to do is take that value, and we're going to figure out that we need 900, right? So let's make an integer value, a constant called 900, right? And that's going to be this dude. Should I be naming these? Probably. You know Dyer's lazy. But now we're going to do equals. So we're basically going to say the size of the crystal equals 900. And that's going to return a Boolean, which is true or false. Cool. So when I put these dudes in here, this guy's going to say false. That's it. End of story. Right? And he's going to say true once this thing actually hits size 900. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to tell him to pick up entities, all item entities in front of it, when you see that size equals 900. Super simple. Now I'm going to convert this. Let's see. The channel that we want is 1, right? That's what we said? Your channel 1? Yes, interface channel 1. So you're going to place the item that you pick up in the chest that's on channel 1. Cool? And we don't have to worry about round robin. We don't have to worry about this. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about any of this for now, right? This one we might have to do some of that with. Cool? Now, world item importer and exporter, we're going to get ready with the use you in a minute. Over here, we want to drop items into the world when there's nothing there, right? We want to say, hey, if there's nothing there, right? If this area is empty, go ahead and grab an item out of this chest and spit it out there, right? Let's note, by the way, how many crystals are in here. 3 of them. 3 perfect crystals. Pretty soon, this thing should automatically pick up and show me where he's at, right? And what I'm going to do is make a copy of that NBT value. Output type string, output type NBT. I'm just going to snag this real quick, and I'm going to make a copy of him. I think that's how you make a copy, right? So that one of you can go back in here, and this one can go here, and we can still see the attributes, right? So when size here becomes 900, which should happen on the next growth, if I'm lucky. If it happens on the next growth, if I'm lucky, that would be cool, right? And it should immediately be picked up and put in the chest. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. It worked. It worked, right? Now we have to cut this dude because he needs some cutting. Okay. So I'm just gonna boop him right back into there, and then again, it might be 1 growth tick, it might be a second one. It depends. It's like random how big the size gets, and it's around 100-ish, but sometimes it's more, sometimes it's a little less. So if we're lucky, we might have it picked up in the next iteration, right? But now what we want to do is detect how many item entities are here, right? So let's figure this out, right? There's a couple ways we could detect how many item entities here. When we're looking at the entity reader, we can see information about the entities that are in front of it. So what we could do is we could check for entity as null. That might be one way to do it. Or we could get the list of entities and check if that list length is 0. Let's do it that way, because that should be a pretty straightforward way to do it. So if we were to look at the value of this list, we would see Celestial Crystal, right? Now, if I dropped another item in there, it would say Celestial Crystal and Logic. And if I dropped another one in there, Hammer, right? You get the idea. And luckily, my magnet picks up those items, so that's cool. It doesn't pick up Celestial Crystals, so made that easy without having to jump in there. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna count how long that list is, right? So let's see. count list, item list count. What I want to do is just put in the list. It might be length, is what it's called. Operator length, category string. Nope. Let's see. Length of list. That's what we want, right? So I'm going to put in the length, or I'm going to put the list in here, and this operator is going to tell me the length of that list, which is how many entries there are. If there's one item there, it's going to be 1. If there's 2 items there, it's going to be 2. If there's 3 items there, it's going to be 3. Cool? So if we do that, right, and we put this in here, and we take this out, and this is an integer, it's 1, right? Because there's 1 item there. If I drop a cable in there, it's 2. And if I drop a hammer in there, it's 3, right? And now it's 2 because I picked up the cable, and now it's 1 because I picked up the hammer, right? So that operator just says, this is how many items are sitting there. What we want to do is check if that equals 0. That sound like a plan? I think so. So what we're going to do is get one of these guys. We're going to get an integer 0. Boop. Okay, and we're going to, again, check for equals, right? So if the length of items equals 0, true or false. And then we're just going to put these dudes in here, and you're going to tell me what's up. So right now it's false, right? Because there's an item there. And as soon as that item gets picked up, right? Which, by the way, why ain't you could not be found within the current... I mean, you're still 900, but maybe I have the wrong... Maybe I should have that one in there. Are you happy now? Yeah, you're good now. Cool. So right now, false, right? Because it's not equal to 0. Because he hasn't grown yet. Goodness gracious. Come on, buddy, grow. But if we pop in there and grab him, right, we will see that he is now true. So that's easy, right? That was an easy one. So what we're going to do there, then, is we're going to put that in the place all item entities thing here, right, which is false. But we want to change this to grab from channel 2, which is this guy, right? We're going to say, go ahead and export items from channel 2. I thought I made you 2. Well, I did now. And we're going to specify certain things, right? So round robin false, exact amount false, dispense false, offset is like the XYZ value of the offset. It's actually pretty neat that you can customize that. Pickup delay, velocity, yaw, pitch, item transfer rate. I'm going to make that 1. So we'll transfer 1 item at a time if there's no item there. Cool. So I'd really appreciate it if that crystal would grow. Ow. I was trying to sleep here, buddy. I think you just did. Dude, I was trying to demonstrate something, and you completely got in my way to demonstrate it. But look, it picked up that crystal? No, I picked up the crystal. Alright, so let's put... Yeah. Alright, so here's my 811 crystal, right? You're just being weird, so I'm just going to reset you real quick. I want my 811 crystal in there. Cool. So we're going to put these guys in here. Right? As soon as this thing grows and hits 900, he's going to be picked up by the importer, and then this guy is going to spit out 1 item. We kind of already saw it happen, right? But that's perfectly growing crystals, right? Our next trick will be to do something similar, but set up to duplicate crystals, right? And we're going to set that up pretty much right now while we're waiting for that thing to cook, right? So we should see a 4th crystal show up in here and then immediately spit out one of these guys. And that should be neat. I love integrated dynamics. Like, if you really get into it and you play with it a few times, and like, it seems complicated. I'm sure some of you who aren't programmers are looking at this and be like, Dyer, I'm so confused. I have no idea how this works. Just, like, copy exactly what I'm doing in your world and then play with things a little bit. It'll click. I promise. It'll eventually click for you. And then you'll be like, this is cool. Because you can really do some complex stuff with it that you just can't do with any other mod, right? I mean, yes, it's complicated, but like, you need that complexity to be able to do things like this build, or to be able to do things like the agricraft growing system, right? So, trust me. Just try it if you feel overwhelmed. All right, I'm going to wait for this thing to hit 900 and we'll be back. Dude, literally, as I said, we'll be back. It just went. So if we take a look here, we'll see 900 is in there, and now we have one of the crystals that was sitting in here was spit out. And that's pretty awesome. How cool is that? So I'll take it, right? You know what else I need is another entity reader, by the way, for the other side of this guy. So let me get that set up. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so over here, right, we don't really need a world item exporter, honestly. I'm going to leave it there just in case I want to use it at some point for something, but theoretically, we shouldn't ever need that, right? Because all we're going to do is we're going to measure how many item entities are here, and if it's greater than 1, we're going to tell the importer to put items into chest number 2. So this should be really easy, right? Let me just get a few more variable cards. We're going to get the item entity list, okay? And we're going to say, I'm not even going to measure this out like we did before, right? List length, right? So here's the list of item entities in the right pool. We're going to get the length of that. We're going to get an integer called 1. And we're going to do greater than. And if the number of items in the pool on the right is greater than 1, true or false. Okay? And that's all we need to do to have this running. Cool? And you're going to go into channel 2. Okay? And item transfer rate will be 1 item at a time. Cool? Cool. Size 334, size 440. That's awesome. So check this out, right? We've got a crystal, right? And I'm going to pick up this crystal as well for a moment. Right? Watch what happens, right? We drop 1 crystal in there. Nothing happens. But as soon as there's 2 crystals there, haha! Look what happened. It sucked it into this chest and then spit it out over here. How cool is that? How cool is that? That's exactly what we wanted to see, right? Exactly what we wanted to see. It just picked it up in one chest and spit it out in the other, right? Ta-da! Beautiful, right? How cool is that, right? Like, integrated dynamics, super cool mod. Super love it. I love playing with this mod because you can do some really complex things, especially once you understand it. It took me a while to really get it all clicking in my head how to do certain things like this, but once you get the hang of it, super cool. There's certain things like, really, bro? It's literally daytime. Why is there a creeper, a rocket creeper of all things, messing up my whole system that I just spent all this time working on? Bro. Luckily, actually, I think he didn't break anything. Well, how lucky is that? I really, really need to get the Lucerna thing going on. All he broke was a couple chests. And maybe some marble. Not a crisis. It looks like, what's under here? Oh, and he broke my display panel too. What a mean person. What a terrible rocket creeper he was. It's daytime. Why is there a rocket creeper in the daytime? That's all I want to know. Perfect, 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 perfect. Not so perfect. Let's test this, right? Hooray, that still works. Let's come over here. You and you. Good. Did what it was supposed to do. Ah, sweet. Alright, so you're going to go in that pool. You're going to go in this pool, and you're just going to keep splitting. And when you split, it's going to go in here. And then if this pool's empty, it'll take the thing that split and put it in there and grow it and put it in here. Sweet. I think that's pretty cool, right? Hey, there's my display panel. Nice. Oh, and my variable card. Good. They both survived. So we can see the size of the thing on the left there. If I wanted to, I could just change that to show just the size integer, but I kind of like seeing all the data. Because I'm a nerd, I like seeing all the data. So I need the QB one, right? That's the one we put here. That looks good to me. And yeah, I'll call that a win. I bet it did. That looks right. I just want to test to make sure that this thing is working properly real quick. Oh, nope, that was actually supposed to be the other type of building block. Hold on, it's a pillar. There we go. Now you happy? Hooray! Alright, let's get rid of this sandstorm. Alright, and what I'm going to do... Actually, the best way to get rid of this sandstorm would probably be to make it nighttime. And then take a nap. Goodbye, sandstorm. Alright, so now let's use some of these perfect crystals that we're getting to make good stuff. We're going to make some rituals. So what I want to do is get ready for that, so I'll be back in a second once I'm ready to do all the ritual making stuff. Alright guys, let's get to work. So I'm going to want 2 ritual pedestals, if I believe myself correctly. So we're going to want all you. It's nice to have just a handful of that stuff. Alright, and then craft that. Hooray! And then craft that. And those 2 crystals that I used to craft with were junky ones out of my system, because when you craft with them like that, it doesn't matter what their attributes are. However, these 2 crystals, we are going to be very focused on our attributes. So the first thing I'm going to want to make, is going to be the constellation crystal that's going to grow my crops really quickly. And I don't know which one that is. It might be one of the major ones, isn't it? Is it Vetus it? Flowers and plants nearby to flourish and greatly increase their bounty. Ritual effect. The ritual suffuses the area with an invigorated life force. All nearby living entities experience regeneration, while nearby crops flourish and grow at an accelerated rate. That's what we want. Cool. So we're going to grab the Avitus constellation paper by shift right clicking here and grabbing Avitus, putting it in our offhand, and going down here and boop. Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm suspecting I might need 1 or 2 more of these astral relay thingies. But we'll find out. Let's see. Do we have any relays in the chest? In the here? There might be some in this chest. Nope. I feel like Avitus has more than 6, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we might need a few more of these. Let's see. Do we have lenses? Wow, no. Okay. Glass. Panes. We're going to get half a stack. We're going to get some aquamarines. And we're going to get you guys in before Creeper sneaks up on me again. And that's right, you need gold nuggets. Perfect. Works for me. So now we've got a bunch of those dudes. So let's pop down here. Now, Avitus looks like it's in the sky, I guess, because we're seeing the purple, so that's good. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. Sweet. So we want actually 2 celestial crystals. If you guys have seen me do astral sorcery before, you know why. We're going to create a ritual that speeds things up. But then we're going to boost the ritual's power by having a collector crystal that will collect the Avitus starlight and boost the power of the ritual by beaming energy into it. And that'll be cool beans. Right? So we're going to get 2 of these. 1 to be the ritual crystal, and that'll be Avitus there, and 1 to be the collector crystal, right? So that should be good times. Sweet. So then we're going to want to get the collector crystal ritual recipe ready. So let's get you ready. There you are. You can go back away, buddy. And we're going to need some of you and some of you and some of you to make a collector crystal. Oh, I need more resonating gems? Rip. I should really automate those. Really, really. Okay, so one of these we're going to make a collector crystal out of. Boom. And one of these we're going to get the... We're going to modify this attuned collector crystal with the dim constellation because we want this thing to grow as quick as possible. So we're going to shrink the area of effect and boost the effect of it. And I want to say that's Ulteria. Drawing in your available resources can result in fueling increased focus. Long story short, you get a smaller area of effect, but more ability. So Ulteria is the one that we want in our offhand here. Is that currently in the sky by chance? Can we get her done quick enough before the sun comes up? That is the question that is on everybody's mind. Maybe not. All right, so let's and come over here. Is Ulteria in the sky yet? That one, that one, that one. I've got them in all the right spots, right? I'm not missing anything. Looks like it. Ulteria just might not be in the sky, so let's skip to another night. There it is, Ulteria. All right. So collector crystal or regular crystal go in there. Right. So now we've got a collector from Avitus that's going to grab all the Avitus energy and beam it into the ritual pedestal, and the ritual pedestal is going to have this crystal on it, which will be Avitus for growing crops, and Ulteria for having a smaller area of effect, but drastically increasing the speed at which it operates, which should be cool. Alright, so real quick, I'm going to make some ritual anchors here, so I need 2 more resonating gems. So ritual anchor, normally... Normally, the ritual affects an area around the ritual structure itself. The ritual anchor lets us change that so that we can specify where exactly the effects of the ritual will be if you don't want them centered around the ritual. So this way I can put the ritual multi-block structure outside my farm, but then beam the effects of the ritual to my farm. Cool. So we're going to make a ritual anchor real quick. Okay, so we want some more glass panes. And I'm going to put away you for a moment. Oh, and you could probably go away too. Boy, do I have a lot of junk in my inventory. You go away. You come here. You go in there. And then you're ready to roll. Ritual anchor. 2 of them, please. So I think I get 2 per, but I'm going to need the ritual anchors again, so I'm just getting 4 instead of 2 this time. Oh well. Not a crisis. And then you can go away. Hooray! Now, do I have all the blocks I need on me for a ritual structure? I do. Now, the only other thing I'm going to need from Astral is going to be those reflectory thingies. These guys. Lenses. Now, they use a crystal, and the properties of the crystal are going to affect how good or how many lenses we get. So I want to use a perfect crystal for this. So I'm going to grab one of my 900 crystals here, and we're going to make this. What am I missing? Engraved infused wood. Right. This comes from something. I think I dropped wood into a liquid starlight pool or something like that. There you go. Hooray! Cool. So that should work. Engraved infused wood or something? I forget exactly how you make this thing. Let's put away some nonsense. I don't need you on me at the moment. I need all this stuff. It's amazing. So you are made with that. And then you're going to get one of these. Let's make sure that we're not putting our attuned crystal in there. Make sure it's the not attuned crystal. And the better the size, the more of these you get per craft. And the better the cutting and purity, the more effective the items that you get are. So watch what happens when I craft this with a perfect 900, 100, 100 celestial crystal. We get 11 lenses, and you can see their perfect stats on the lenses. So that's how you know that those attributes mattered. Okay? So let's pop down here, and we're going to get ready to roll. So let's build... Cool. And I kind of want this centered with the area there. So we're going to do our best to do that. How's that look? We should probably... Nope. There you go. That looks good, right? Come here, you. Thanks. Perfect. All right. So that's step 1, is getting that multi-block placed, right? Step 2, place the ritual pedestal inside of it. Bing. Step 3, we're going to have the attuned celestial crystal with the appropriate information in there. Boom. And we can see the big green particle effects affecting it. Now, it's generally a small area because we did that Ulteria thing. That's not going to be a big deal. Let's make it a new night, because I want it to be nighttime when we turn this on. But a feral flare lantern may not go awry. Really? Really no glass? There we go. Just so you guys can see what's happening, right? Maybe not here. Well, yeah, I could probably do it there. So now what we need to do, in addition to this, right, and I think I'm going to put it like right here-ish, actually, we'll leave the feral flare lantern under that, is we want to make this multi-block structure that's in Constellation, and that is the enhanced collector crystal multi-block. What this does, right, and it's a 3x3 of marble, and I don't have a copy-paste handy of this, so I'll just build it. But it's a 3x3 of marble. Oh boy, these guys. 5 seconds ago I said I don't need my bow. Well, something I do. Alright, so it's a 3x3 of marble, right? And then we want... I forget what goes in the center there. I think it's the engraved goes in the center there. The ones with the cubed sides. Goes in the center there. Cool. And then along the edges out here, we're going to have runed, and then we're going to have the blocky things, and then the cube, right? So let's get... Basically, I need more runed. So let me get the things I need. Okay, so we need these guys, right? And then we got the cubey ones. And the cubey ones. And the cubey ones. And then we put the engraved, I think it is. Yeah. On top of the cubey ones. Cool. And then we have one pillar, and then a cubey one. And a cubey one, a cubey one, a cubey one, like that. Now, there should be a block in between them, and then you also want to fill the area underneath with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. And then you place your collector crystal there and break this. And you know it's working when you see particle effects. That means you did it right. And then what you want to do is link with your linking wand this collector crystal to this dude. And that's how you know you did that right. Cool. So that's looking right. Now what happens is you'll notice there's this beam of energy blasting off. And what we're going to do is, you don't have to put marble pillars here, but I like to because I think it looks good. But what you do have to put is a lens, and then focus it back on the ritual pedestal. You do this 5 times. Okay, and the location of these beams shooting off is going to be random each time. So just, you know, be aware of that. And you generally just hope that it's not going to get in the way of the beam coming in here. So we reflect that back, and then he's going to shoot another beam off somewhere. There he goes. So see that beam shooting off there? So we're going to... It's very faint. And then we reflect it back. Man, it's like hard to see. There it is. Oops. And I think on the fourth one, you'll start seeing the constellation itself underneath the ritual. And then the fifth one is the last. And that beam seems to be shooting off to here. And now you've made the most powerful ritual you can. Cool. So then the final step here is to link this with the ritual anchor so that it affects the area over there, right? So that's what we're going to do now. So to check that out, we can see the ritual anchor, and I have to remember how far up we go. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth block is that. So what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth block is the ritual anchor, right? And don't worry about this, right? Don't worry about this. So then we just put this back here, and while that goes, I'm just going to make it nighttime again. And you'll notice that the beams all kind of radiate back out to their same points. So that's good news, right? So now we just put this guy, I'm going to put the ritual anchor here, and then we will, in theory, link this to that. And now we've got a nice area of effect. And look how fast our crops are growing. How cool is that? That is cool beans. Look at how fast they're going. So it's definitely affecting these dudes. It doesn't look like it's affecting the mystical agriculture crops as much, but it's definitely affecting the not mystical agriculture crops. So that's fine. Interesting. Interesting that mystical agriculture wouldn't be as affected by it. You would think that these guys would be, right? Because these guys are growing super quick. I don't know. I don't have a good answer to whether or not that makes sense. But we are definitely at the wrapping up point. So what I'm going to do is wrap up the episode here. We will come back next time. I'm going to see if I can get the mystical agriculture crops to behave with this thing. But you can see how quick crop growing is going to get. And they might just be growing fast, and it just might be that these guys are a little bit slow, but we'll be fine. We'll figure it out. For now, though, 20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time, and I want to get Lucerne up and running, but that'll be a quick and easy one, just to prevent mobs from spawning around my base. And then we have a whole bunch more stuff to look at. So for now, take it easy.